Hello, good morning. Welcome to Praise for Wednesday. They're about Pfthinks. I'm excited to come your way again today. How are you doing? Hey, King Lani, how are you? Super good morning. Everyone joining me on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you all for joining. Um, Okay, welcome to PF Things. It's another day, 3 a.m. club. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm so excited to come your way again once again. And you know how we do this show. Anyway, like yesterday we started a series on the four most important relationship rules. And I'm so excited at the feedback some of you are sending based on what we shared yesterday. Well, if you live in Nigeria, you will know exactly what happened again yesterday. So let's move on and be happy, irrespective of what happens, especially with COVID-19. One of the people I respect the most in the broadcasting world, it was a personal mentor to me because for years I ran a show on CD FM, 105.1 FM, and my show was almost immediately after I started every Sunday. Dan Foster, that was the dawn himself, of course, about the coldness of death by COVID-19. Yes, he did in Gudalu. But whichever way, we have to give thanks to God in all things and be grateful for the gift of life. Okay, what it means is we need to maximize every opportunity and every powers that God has given unto us to impact humanity and transform lives. Okay, so on that note, we want to say rest in peace, Dan Foster. Thank you for changing the face of broadcasting in Nigeria, and especially what it means to be an on-air personality. You will not be forgotten. Okay, so yesterday I started on the four most important relationship rules, and I treated the rule of acceptance, the need for you to accept people without raising questions, without judging them. And that was very, very good. I know quite a number of you took me up on my stance. You wanted to know what my stand on LGBT was, and I responded to you the same way I always respond, that my code for treating people is to first of all relate with them based on their humanity. I will respect people's choices and preference, provided they do not try to impose their preferences on me. The same way I will never impose my preference on them. It's like someone in his bedroom who says he prefers, to do spoon, as a sexual um, style, as a sex style with his wife, and someone else prefers missionary, right? The missionary person has no right to criticize the person doing spoon, provided what is happening in the secret of their bedroom. I will have a problem if they bring their spoon to the public space and then start to have sex in the public square. Okay, so that's my stance. But what I was sharing yesterday is the fact that we need to learn to accept people because oftentimes people's sexuality has not affected their capacity to perform on their job or to do what is required, especially at the point of interacting with them, right? A pilot is a pilot. I mean, his sexuality does not affect his ability to pilot a plane. And that's why you realize that some of these people, like I said yesterday, when it comes to human behavioral code and when it comes to their threat to the society, it's very, very minute and minor compared to someone who loots the entire treasury of the country, and on whose account a lot of people are dying because they have no access to Medicare. So that was what I was sharing yesterday. Okay, so today we move to rule number two um, when it comes to human relationship skills. Now, I said yesterday that quite a number of people have missed out on the biggest deal in their life because they don't understand this golden rule. Now, it's very, very important for you to master rules because rules define everything. It's about rules of engagement. I tweeted a picture yesterday of Bobrisky. If you don't live in Nigeria, you may not know Bobrisky. Bobrisky is a cross dresser. Bobrisky was going to go for his father's birthday, and Bobrisky, who all these years has dressed, behaved like a woman, changed back to a male to attend his father's birthday, right? That's rules of engagement. The fact that he recognized, what his father wanted, and he had to respect his father's rules of engagement, and that's a typical way to manage a relationship, right? That a lot of us don't understand that in another man's territory, you are not necessarily a king. In another person's territory, you are a subject. In your territory, you are a king. If I come to your house, right, I have to abide by your rules, which is what Africans don't sometimes do well, especially mother-in-law. You want to come to someone else's family, in the name of the person is your son, right? And you have a daughter-in-law, but you want to insist on your rule in your daughter-in-law's territory. That is very, very wrong. Your daughter-in-law's territory is not your territory. You don't own that territory. You have to respect the rules of engagement in that territory. You have to eat what they offer you, and you have to sleep where they ask you to sleep. You can't come there and bring, your high-handedness from your own family. You can't extend your territorial rule to another person's house. But many of us don't understand this, which is why we teach couples right now to deploy what we call the family immigration rule, which says that when people come to visit you, what you hand over to them is a visiting visa, which means you need to take them through an orientation of how your system runs, of how your home works from the point of arrival, so that they don't run foul of your domestic rule without knowing, right? So we need to understand the need to accept people. But number two rule today is the rule of respect. And respect says what differentiates many successful people from those who fail in relationship is that while successful people practice respect, others are respecters of men, so they fail in not understanding how to respect people who carry so much value, but they don't look at it at first glance. What that means is an average person is a respecter of persons. They don't have respect. A lot of people say they have respect. It is not correct. What they are is respecters of men. Now, what is the difference? Now, people who have respect, they will accord people whatever, they will accord them the dignity, the code of dignity and the code of honor, irrespective of who they are, no matter how they are dressed, no matter what you know about them or what you don't know about them, whether they are tall or they are short, whether they are Christian or Muslim, whether they are young or old, because what you find out, especially around the world. At least I'm very familiar with Africa, familiar with America, familiar with Canada, and quite a number of countries I've been to. I love to study culture. One of the things I have realized, especially with us in Africa, is that you get into a space, let's say you get into a banking hall, right? The moment the service provider, or the cashier or whatever, feels that they are older than you, the way they even receive you will show that there's this arrogance that I am older than you, so you owe me respect. Now, they do not know that respect is reciprocal. Respect is an energy that when you give it, you attract it, right? And when you don't deploy it, you don't attract it. Now, so a lot of people, they look down on people. They forget that the customer is king. So, for example, a young boy goes to visit somewhere or maybe takes a cab and the person driving the cab is an elderly person. Now, naturally, the young boy should respect the older person the same way the older person should respect the young boy. But what happens is you find a situation where the cab driver will insult you, we call you names, despite the fact that you have money to pay because he feels, oh, I am old enough to be your parent. So people who don't respect themselves think that they have earned the right to be respected, so they insist on enforcing respect based on age differences. Now, they do not know that when you watch boxing, the boxer who is younger is not going to think of the person who is older and say, I will spare him because he knows he's going to lose his belt, right? So you see a Mike Tyson when he was 20 beating 30-something-year-old people, right? And giving them a knockout, right? To show that respect has to be reciprocal, right? That certain level, it's your competence that will count. But what I always recommend these days, right, that if you accord every human being with a code of dignity, if you accord them the code of honor, no matter who they are, unknown to you, if that is your default response, you will realize that you would have entertained angels, you would have entertained the highest people who are dressed abnormally without even knowing. Now, Dr. Mike Murdoch made a statement that changed my life many years ago. He said, you can only attract whatever you respect. So whatever you respect, you attract. And whatever you disrespect moves away from you. So you realize that a lot of people are poor. And one of the reasons they're poor is that they disrespect rich people. Now, my friend taught me something that changed my life. He said, when you desire something from God, what God first does is he makes it happen to someone around you to test your response. Now, if your response is being cynical, if your response is disdain for what is happening to that person, you cut yourself off from the flow of that same thing into your life. But if you see, no matter how the person is, whether you think the person is right or wrong, the person believes your belief, the person doesn't believe your belief, if you see it happen for them and you acknowledge it and you are grateful for them and you get into gratitude for them, you automatically attract the same thing into your life. A lot of us disrespect people who have what we don't have because we think we are smarter, we think we are richer, we think we should actually deserve it more than them. So you see someone who has become a governor who doesn't have half the brain that you think you are, right? The fact that he's governor, you respect the office, right? But many of us talk them down and we expect breakthrough into our own life. It doesn't work that way, right? If you were smarter, actually, you will be the governor. That you are not the governor is proof that your smartness has a question mark. Okay, you may say that being a governor is not your forte, right? But even in your field, have you become number one? That many of us cut ourselves off from the flow of knowledge because we think that the person has nothing to teach us. So when I see people, especially Christians, who make statements like there is no unbeliever has anything to teach me, the first question I'm asking is, who do they call an unbeliever? Has God ever called any of those people unbeliever? Right? So you have this arrogance that you think nobody, someone, a non-Christian cannot teach you anything, but a non-Christian can teach you a lot. Your math teacher when you were in school was a non-Christian, right? Your all the people who have taught you stuff in life are not always Christian, but they've taught you things because knowledge is not religious centric, neither is it gender centric. Everybody has something to teach you, including a child. But if you don't respect them, you cannot attract them. Parents who don't respect their children eventually lose the children because if you don't become their student, you cannot become a child's teacher. People who don't respect their spouses eventually lose their spouses because what you don't respect move away from you, but what you respect you attract. Now, respect is a critical rule of engagement if you must become successful at relating with people. I have noticed that many people don't know the difference between respect for others and being respecters of men. Now, the difference is that while having respect for others means you will accord everyone that comes into your life the best and the highest form of treatment, irrespective of who they are. The later means that you only accord honor to those who are above you or the people you feel you can offer you something. So if someone dresses anyhow, right, you treat them anyhow. I was talking to a group of customer service officers in one of the top communication companies in Nigeria. I was running a training 2 years ago, and I showed them the picture of a prostitute. And I said, so I mean, show them the picture of a lady dressed as a prostitute. And I asked them, what can you see? They said prostitute. I showed them the picture of people that look like refugees. I said, what can you see? They said refugees. I showed them the picture of people in the religious space. I said, what can you see? They said Muslims. Now I showed them different kind of pictures. They kept using their labeling, and I said to them that this is exactly why your company may likely go down because your frontline people, your customer client relations officers, all they can see are labels. They do not see customers. As long as you don't see customers, you will treat a prostitute, and you treat a lady who is inappropriately dressed as a prostitute. You're going to treat people based on the labels that human beings have created. So you have someone who wants to transact business, who wants patronage, right? But the person is calling a prostitute a prostitute. Meanwhile, the lady has the capacity to patronize you, right? Maybe the prostitute is a side chick to the governor, right? That you need to access, but you have labeled her or called her all kinds of names, and you have cut yourself from the flow. What is your business with how people live their lives, right? Now you should be worried as a human being, but you see, their choices and their preference is theirs, and you need to respect their choices, because when the consequence comes, it's got nothing to do with you, right? So if you don't respect people, you cannot attract them. But if you stick to the code of humanity, the code of dignity of persons, irrespective of their age, irrespective of their gender, their culture, irrespective of their tradition and their belief system, if you accord them that dignity of person, you would realize that consistently you will win people into your life. You will attract all kinds of people into your world, and in any nation of the world you get into, doors will open of their own accord, because your default mode is respect. Now, this is exactly why a man treats his female boss with dignity, yet treats his wife, with disdain, right? Or a woman treats a religious leader with honor, but disrespects her husband, while both of them treat the kids of their president with dignity, yet they are mean to their own children. This has been respecters of men. When you treat people differently, depending on their status, you are a respecter of persons. You do not have respect. When you treat the house help lesser than you would treat your children, you are a respecter of persons. You do not have respect, because you don't know what your house help is capable of becoming in the future. When you treat your gatemen, you treat your drivers, you talk to them anyhow, you are a respecter of persons. You have no respect. If what you see is man made in God's image, or if what you see is yourself through their eyes, how would you have treated them? If what you see is your child, how would you have treated? If what you see is the president of your country, what would you have done differently? Now, respect means, one, that you respect the humanity of your contact. Respect means, one, that you respect the humanity of your contact. The person standing in front of you is not an animal. As a matter of fact, I have seen people treat their animals better than the way they treat human beings. Is it not a shameful thing that a particular race will brandish animal rights, but they will trample on human rights? So you are carrying your pet, you are creating a will, you are creating expression for your pet in your will, but you are seeing another human being because his skin is black, you are treating him anyhow, right? So you claim you have respect for animal rights, but you violate human rights, and that is being racist, right? So you realize that you do not have respect for humanity. What you have respect, you are a respecter of things or a respecter of persons. Respect means that you recognize the humanity of your contact. As long as the person you're relating with has got the behavior or the persona or the appearance of a human being, no matter whether they are 1 day old, 2 day old, 3 day old, 1 year old, 10-year old, younger, slim, fat, big, right, small, whatever it is, right? You need to accord them that dignity of person. Number two, respect means you recognize there is something in everyone that is good and can come good for you at the critical moment. Respect means you recognize there is something in everyone that is good. Even the baddest of all creature has got something good in them. In fact, sometimes even God activates the devil for his own good, right? So you need to understand, right, that respect means that you recognize there is good in everyone, which is why when everybody talks about the bad in someone, I cannot reduce the totality of a person to their bad behavior, because we all have our bad behavior. If I reduce the totality of your life to your bad behavior, which is a disempowering state in your life, How would you feel? So what we do is, this person has committed a sin that we don't approve of, then we reduce the totality of his life to that sin and invalidate or pretend that there is no good in him. So even if he has philanthropy, even if he's a good husband, even if he's a good father, even if he's a good personnel, even if he's a good friend, we discount all that and we treat him based on the behavior we do not approve of, forgetting that we also have issues in our own life that if we magnify and exaggerate your own disempowering state, you may not even pass the test of what you're trying to stone others for. Which is why I love Jesus's response. Jesus had respect for everyone, right? They brought a woman who was caught in the very act of adultery, and they asked him, the laws of Moses said we should stone, right? Because he was caught in the very act. And Jesus said, he did not say, he that has not committed adultery. If he had said that, the woman would have been stoned. But he said, he that is without sin, cast the first stone. What he was trying to teach there is that you cannot categorize sin. If you have failed at one, you have failed in all. So you cannot say you are a saint in your own way and castigate others, right, who are falling short in their own way. Oftentimes, the way humanity works is your strength is someone else's weakness, your weakness is someone else's strength. And that's why we all need to lean on one another. But what we try to do is we pretend as if we are invincible, we are not sinners, and we try to stone other people, which is why we treat ourselves with empathy, but we try to treat others with judgment. Now, can you pause for a moment? Who is that person that is the most difficult person in your life? Can you attempt to look for what is good about them? You realize that whatever you focus on is what you magnify, and what you magnify is what you exaggerate. Oftentimes, we exaggerate people's behavior, right? Because we're trying to pretend or console ourselves that what they have done is so bad. Now, the way I describe it is this. If you are flying on a plane, while you're on the tarmac, you notice that you can still see houses, you can still see the full size of people. But the moment the plane takes off to 40,000 feet above sea level, if you look down, you will see nothing, or you will see very tiny things, right? The shape and the size have reduced. Why? Because you have moved far away. The more detached you are from things and people that hurt you, the lesser impact they have on you. The more attached, the more you can magnify and exaggerate. So respect means you recognize the good in everyone. So whether you have a history with them that is unpleasant, what good exists in them? If you focus on the good, the impact of the pain they have inflicted on you is less, and you can still accord to them or give to them what is due to them as human beings. Number three, respect means you see yourself in others and you recognize what you do against them is against yourself, which is what we call Ubuntu in Africa. Ubuntu means I am because you are. There is no you without me. Whatever I do against you, I do against myself. Imagine if all our leaders in Africa have seen themselves through our eyes, then people won't be dying of COVID the way we're dying in Africa right now. Because for several years, they saw the people they are serving as animals. So they were traveling abroad for medical treatment. Now that everywhere is locked down, nobody could travel abroad for treatment. You can see that the reality and the report card is becoming very scary every day. That if you see everyone through your eyes, you will serve them. That if you see yourself through the eyes of people, what would you do differently? I love the golden rule, says that you treat others the way you want to be treated. Platinum rule says you treat people the way they want to be treated. So what that means is you recognize people through your eyes. That if they do this to you, how would you feel? If you are treated the same way you are treating others, how would you feel? Right? If you pray a prayer for yourself this morning, that may I get treated the way I am treating others, will you like to say amen? Or if you say, may my family or my children become treated the way I'm treating others, will you be able to say amen? If you cannot say amen, it is time to repent, because many of us, we are giving hell to other people. What I found consistently is everyone accusing their leader of being mean is also mean to the people looking up to them, right? So you must see yourself in others and you recognize that what you do against them is against yourself. So if you steal from your workplace, you are stealing against yourself. If you talk down on people, you are talking down on yourself. If we see ourselves and process life through that, we will treat people better. Respect means, number 4, that you have the intelligence to appreciate people's journey and to understand that they are doing the best they can with what they know. Respect means that you recognize that the person with bad behavior is coming from a place, right? And that if you were born in their circumstances, you were raised in the same circumstances, you have gone through the experience they've been through, most likely you will be acting the way they are acting. So that moves you from judgment to empathy, to understand that people do the best they can with what they know. How come Jesus looked at them and he says, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing? How can adults not know what they are doing? But Jesus recognized that everyone is doing the best they can with the resources available to them. If they knew better, they would have acted better. So you need to understand that respect means that you have the intelligence to appreciate people's journey. As a matter of fact, what you are complaining about is oftentimes the improved version of who they used to be, right? And by coming into your world, they also have the opportunity of getting better, right? That many of us don't realize that we may be the last hope of people experiencing what it means to experience and enjoy the beauty of humanity. Now, when we respect others, we are able to attract them, which is a major factor in our ability to influence them. A lot of people want to influence the people they don't respect. There is no way you can influence someone you do not respect except you use the power of gun, coercion, or force. And that is not going to be sustainable because they are going to rebel against you after some time. So you need to understand that no power lasts forever, right? But what will make people remember you is your respect for their person and your respect for their humanity. So what are the top tips today to maximizing this principle of respect? Number 1, make respect for others your default relationship code. I attend the meeting every Saturday before the lockdown. Now we do it online, and it's called our tribal meeting. Everyone in that meeting is called my leader. That's how we greet ourselves. Now, we do that intentionally to show that nobody is an eternal leader. There is always something to learn from the other person. Now, I am a leader in my area of expertise, but I do not understand other areas. So I subject my knowledge to others in that area so that they can help me and lead me. Your driver is your leader as long as you're on the passenger side. If you treat your driver anyhow, he can crash the car and dive out while you will die, right? You need to understand that, which is why you do not talk down your driver when he's the one piloting your life and is on the wheel, right? You do not talk down the nurse because it's just one injection and you are gone, right? Before you have the opportunity of protesting, you have crossed to the other side. So we need to understand that respect must be a default mode. Respect your gatemen. They have information that you don't have, right? The day armed robbers are coming to kill you, they have that information. If you are fond of respecting, interacting, showing that you care about them, they will give you a tip and you'll be able to escape, right? Respect the area boys on your street. They have access to information that you don't have, right? Buy them things. Respect the policeman on the road, especially if you live in Africa. Buy them pure water, buy them bottled water, buy them loaves of bread, right? They have information that may save your life, right? You need to understand this. So make respect your default relationship code. Respect the beggar. Respect the guy on the street who is improperly dressed. You do not know the power that resides in them. Every human being is here, right, with the capacity to add value to us, right? They may be in their disempowered state, but that is not the totality about them. There were people you did primary school together. Some of them you call them dollars. Some of them are in the House of Assembly right now. Now, if you have treated them and you have signed for them, Olodo Rabata, way back, would you be able to go back to them right now to get help? You need to understand that life is never static. Life can change, situations can change, but how you treat people, they will not forget. My mother used to drum it into my ears when I was younger. She would say to me, son, be nice to the people you meet on your way up because you might need them on your way down. And she would say, close every door gently because you might need to go through that door again. I have never forgotten these two relationship codes that has guided my life so far. Number two, respect people's beliefs, even if it contradicts yours, and never seek to pull down their conviction. Never seek to pull down their conviction. I will never get into an argument with someone who doesn't belong to my religion. Let me shock you. This is what I believe. I have never been a Buddhist. I have never been a Muslim. All I have known is Christianity. Christianity is the way I know. That is all I know. Someone else was born into Islam. That is all he knows. So I have no right to tell him that his way is wrong when I have never been in his way. And he has no right to tell me my way is wrong when he has never been in my way. So here is what I've concluded, that the way he interprets God is through Islam. The way I interpret God is through Christianity. Both of us could be right? Because it is foolhardy for both of us to be fighting over what we don't fully understand. We were not there when Christianity was founded. We were not there when Islam was founded. It was many, many years ago. We are only depending on what the books we read told us, right? And if what we are depending on is the narration of men, right? We cannot now kill ourselves over what we were not present when it happened. Even those who were present when Jesus was alive, 4 of them wrote 4 gospels, and they wrote 4 different things, right? That is to tell you that there is always a margin of error, right? When you understand this, you will no longer argue arbitrarily with people. If I was born in Iraq, who would I have become? I would be a Muslim, right? And the capacity to be a Christian may be tougher because the optics are higher, right? So you need to put yourself in people's shoes. God was not stupid. He knew people were born in Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. He knew that they may not even hear about Jesus, or they may not even become Christians. So he must have a way of judging them different from the way I will be judged as a Christian who has the benefits of the Bible. Even with the Bible that I have, I am still struggling with some sin. I am still struggling with some areas of my life. How much more someone who is not reading my Bible? Why would I now want to judge the world from the standpoint of my Bible that the whole world is not reading? Why would you want to judge the whole world from the standpoint of your Quran that the whole world is not reading? It's not the universal book for everyone, right? People have a right to choose whatever they want to choose. In fact, there are people who don't choose any book. They say there is no God, and God is not upset with them. So it is wrong for us to impose our will on others. Now, what I'm looking for is the areas where we align. So we all align that there is a God of creation. Now, if that is fine, we all align that it is wrong to kill people or to talk down people. We align in that area. So let me stay with where we align and leave the areas where we differ. That is the key to building a sustainable relationship. So I'm willing to align with everyone, right? Respecting their worldview. And that is something that can help you and take you away from all kinds of shenanigans and all kinds of problems that has created crisis for humanity, right? We will not survive this crisis if we don't activate our brain and begin to see ourselves as man made in God's image, right? So you must respect people's beliefs, even if it contradicts yours. And that's why I love to read other people's books so that I understand how they are thinking. As a therapist, I work with all kinds of people, different races, different religions, different culture. I have taken it upon myself to study their culture. I've taken it upon myself to go and read other people's books, religious books, that is not my book, so that I can better understand my client, because people are often products of their foundations. Foundations are conclusions in many cases, except there's an intervention, right? So I respect people's beliefs. I respect the average Muslim. I respect the Christian. Even within Christianity, I respect different denominations, because we all pretend as if our so we all say, oh, Christianity is the only religion we must practice. Then even within Christianity, there is no unity in CAN in Nigeria, no unity at PFN level. Sele believes that Pentecostals are this. Even within Pentecostal, we have different doctrines, which is showing to us that we keep fooling ourselves that one religion is what can give global peace. If one religion can give global peace, even within the religion, there are divisions, right? So you need to understand that people will not always believe what you believe. The whole world will never practice the same religion, but within the ambit of our diversity, How can we come together and unite for humanity, right? Number three, be humble enough to learn through the lens to better understand their map of the world and the filter through which they process reality. People process reality through about 7 different filters. I treated that about 4 days ago, right? That people have beliefs, people have values, people make decisions, people have memories, right? People have languages, people have meta programs, right? And so people have filters. Their filters is what determines their map of the world. So when people talk about paradigm, that they're talking about the filters. Their filters is what determines what they accept, what they reject, what they distort, what they exaggerate, what they generalize. Is all a product of the filters. So you need to be humble enough to learn through their lens to better understand their map of the world. So you stop asking the question what, you start asking the question why and how. Why is it doing what it's doing? How does it do what it does? Instead of what is it doing? What is it doing? Every time you focus on words, you are going to focus on labels. You are going to judge people. He is gay, he is straight, he is a Muslim, he is Christian, right? And that will affect the way you receive them, because the moment you label them is a prostitute, right? You give yourself a measure of social distancing. The capacity to trust them is no longer there. Ah, he may snatch my husband now. She's a prostitute. But unknown to many of you, the people you trust the most are the ones who have the capacity to hurt you the most, because they're on your blind spot. And the moment they are on your blind spot, they can kill you without you knowing, right? So be humble enough to learn through their lens. Next one, number 4, recognize that everything people do in life is either to avoid pain or gain pleasure. So never respond to disrespect with disdain, right? People are led by 2 motivations: the quest to avoid pain or the quest to gain pleasure. When you understand that, you will understand why people do bad things with good intention. So you need to recognize that whatever they do is to avoid pain or to gain pleasure, right? And if that is their default response or default mode, you do not respect you do not respond to being disrespected with disdain. You need to understand that disrespectfulness is a seed. If they throw it at you, you don't throw it back, because if you throw it back, you are going to reap it. So if they throw disrespectfulness at you, you need to respond with respect and with honor. Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we must not go low. We go high. If you go low with them, then you have reduced yourself to their level. And that takes me to number 5. Recognize that people will do everything to be with someone that gives them a feeling of respect. And it's a vital key to retaining people in your life. People will do anything to be with someone whose default mode is respect. Remember, I said, Dr. Mike Murdoch said, whatever you respect, you attract. Whatever you disrespect, move away from your life. If you respect wealth, you will attract wealth, which is why money never stays with people who have no respect for money. So the moment you make money and all you do is you buy toys, you flaunt your wealth, it's going to disappear. It has wings. Money is a currency. The power of currency is that it flows from the region of the have-not to the region of the haves, because the haves understand how to treat money. They respect money, which is why they manage, multiply money, right? But the poor only spend money. So you need to understand that if you respect wealth, wealth comes into your life. If you respect your body, right, it determines what you eat. Your health will burst out because you respect what goes into your system. And you rest, right, and you exercise, right, because you respect your body, you attract your body. If you disrespect your health, you're going to lose it. If you respect your spouse, you attract them. If you disrespect them, you're going to lose them. If you respect your children, you attract them without judgment. If you disrespect your children, you will be getting into argument consistently. If you respect your boss, your downline, you attract them. If you disrespect them, they move away from you. So it is important that whatever you want to respect, whatever you respect, you attract. So if you check your life today, what are the things missing from your life? What are the things you seriously desire? Write them down. Look for someone who already is manifesting those results and choose to respect that person, or even respect everyone around you. You will realize that whatever you respect, you magnetize it into your life. Now, let me end today by saying, always remember, respect is the garden the most difficult person will visit to relax. Is the most refreshing spring the most ardent person will love to drink from. You become that garden and that spring. That respect is a garden. The most ardent, most difficult person will love to come in there to relax. Respect is like a spring. The most ardent person will love to drink from that spring, right? So, if the most difficult person will gravitate in the direction of respect, the most ardent person will gravitate towards the spring of respect. Why don't you become respect? What it means is take a decision with your life from today that everyone you see, you will respect their humanity. You will no longer judge along the barriers and the boundaries of color, race, religion, sexuality, or the labels the world has created. What God made is man, made in his image, expressed in two gender, male and female. Every other thing is man made. That you will no longer judge people along religious barriers, right? To say this one is going to hellfire. What if you get to heaven and you meet him there? Will you carry placard and you say, "All we are saying, he must go to hell," or "God, you are not fair"? No, none of us knows what is going to happen there. So respect what you know, respect what they know, treat them with love. Unknown to many of you, you say you want to go to heaven, but you are treating people with hatred because they don't believe what you believe in your heart. So how do you get into that heaven if God is love and you don't look like God every time you violate the code of love? So respect is key. If you learn to respect people, you will attract them. Whatever you respect, you attract. Whatever you disrespect moves farther away from you. I hope I have helped you today. So go out of your way, respect everyone around you, respect everyone in your life, and you watch what will happen. And whatever is missing in your life, look for how to begin to respect that thing in the life of everyone who has it, and you will see it manifest in your life. Thank you so much for joining me today. I honor you and I appreciate you all. Have a fantastic day. We will see tomorrow. Thank you. God bless.